Hello everyone, welcome to the part 6 of JavaScript. In this session, we are going to talk about object literals. So objects are one of the most important concepts in JavaScript, and when we do JavaScript development part now, we will be entering into JavaScript development in part 8. In part 8, we will talk about what is document manipulation, and when we talk about DOM structures, then we will actually enter into the development part of JavaScript. Okay, so when we are in JavaScript development part, then the objects are going to be one of the most important concepts. So it is really important to understand how objects works, what is an object, how we can add objects in our how we can add values in our object, how we can like change values, update values, delete, all this sort of things. So in this session we are gonna focus on what is an object literal, how we can create them, and how we can perform different things using object literal. So let us start with our first thing, the definition of object literal. So object literals are used to store key value pairs. You can compare a object literal, you can draw parallels between a hash map and a object literal. In Java we have studied hash map, right? So in hash map what we generally do, we will store the key and its corresponding value, and we can like manipulate, we can add different sort of things, and we can access the value through key. Similarly, object literals are very similar to hash maps. Here also we store key value pairs, and the collection of this key value pairs we call it as a object. You know, in JavaScript, object is a very wide topic. Object has very different meanings based on the context, right? For example, if you want to check the type of array data structure, then you will get the type of array data structure as an object. Similarly, if you check the type of object literal, then you will get the answer as object. And similarly, when we build classes, and in the main program in Java, we build classes, and in the main program we write the class name and the object name is equals to new some class name. So this is also an object. So it is totally dependent on what context you are talking about, and object is a very wide topic in JavaScript. Right now what we are going to focus on is the collection of this key value pair. We call it as a object right now, and in future we will explore different objects as well. Okay, now to understand what is the meaning of object literal, how we use it and why we use it, let us take an example. Let's say that a student, let us consider a student, and a student can have a name, will have a name. So name, let's say his name is Jabir, and can I say that for a student his name and its corresponding value, can I call it as a property, as a single property? So let's say this is property 1. Similarly, a student can have marks, so here I will give CGPA and let's say 9.5 something, and this will become my second property. Similarly, we can also give assign age as 18, so this will become property 3. Now combining all these properties, we call it as an object. We demonstrate this different things in the form of an object. So combining all this, we call it as a object, and we will see how we can write object in few minutes. But you can observe here that the name is key and the corresponding value to this particular key is Jabir. So if you want to access a particular value, then you need key of that thing. Let's say that I want to access CGPA of this particular student, then the key I should use is CGPA. Okay, this might be a little bit confusing, but give me few minutes, everything will be all right. Okay, now how to create object, how to create an object. So how we create an object is that first of all we will write our variable, what type of variable it is, whether it is a let or constant. Okay, so here I have shown you an example that first of all we will write let, or you can also use constant, and you will write the object name. My object name in the given example is Delhi. Delhi is equals to, in the curly braces, opening curly brace, and in the opening curly brace I will write latitude. Latitude is my one of the key, colon, and its corresponding value. Similarly, I can also add another key, longitude, and its corresponding value 77 point something something. So this is how we create an object in JavaScript. For example, I can also create an object of student. So here I will give letter student, and I need to give opening curly bracket, and in the opening curly bracket I will give name, and let's say his name is Jabir, so I will give Jabir in the double quotations, Jabir. Now age is 18 and CGPA is 9.5. So, and we need to give comma after each and every key value pair to tell our JavaScript that this key value pair has ended here. We need to give colon, right, and closing bracket. Like this we can create our very own object in JavaScript. Now let us see how we can create it. We'll go to VS Code, and here I will write, I have my index.html file, general file, and it is connected with index.js, basically my JavaScript file, and I have connected that JavaScript file with my HTML file. Okay, now in the index.js, what I will do is that first of all I will create a object. Let's say student is an object, so I will give let student is equals to, and in that I will give name as Jabir Hussain, and comma age 19 and CGPA is 9.5. So like this we can create a object in our JavaScript. Now let me save it and run this file. I will go to the run this. You can see that, let me inspect it, and in the console I will write student. So student, and click enter, and you will see that a student is having name, after it age, after it CGPA, and you can see that here the output I am getting, first of all I am getting age, after it I am getting CGPA, after it I am getting name. So one thing you need to observe here, that objects are not in order. Like for example, if I create an array here, I can also store all the things in the form of array. So I will create array, let yes is equals to, here I will store what you can say Jabir Hussain, and comma I will store the same things 9.5 and closing bracket. That's all. Now let me print yes here. So here I will print yes, and you can see that yes is in a structured format. First of all I am getting Jabir Hussain, after that I am getting 18, after that I am getting 9.5. Now similarly if I print student, now here student, and click enter, and you will see that this is not in a structured format, right? Even though first of all I am inserting Jabir Hussain, after that I am inserting age, and finally I am inserting my CGPA, but I'm not getting this in a structured format. So this is one of the key differences between an array and an object. Object stores values in a very random fashion, whereas array will store the input or assigned values in a structured format. The first inserted value will come first, the last inserted value will come at last, whereas in object everything will become random. Okay, and one more thing you need to remember here is that by just observing array, here you can observe the array. Array, first of all I am storing a string, after that I am storing a number, and finally you can see here also I am storing a number. And by just observing the array I won't get any clear idea, but by observing the object I can understand, okay, this is a student object, and in that his name is Jabir Hussain, his age is 18, not 19, yeah 18, and CGPA is 9.5. So an object will give you a clear idea about what this is, whereas array can do the same thing, but it is like a sort of unclear. Okay, yeah, this is the thing you need to understand between the difference between array and the object. Now let us come back to our concept. We have been assigned a task, and in this task we need to create a post. We need to create a Twitter post, and a Twitter post can have a username, content, and likes, repost, tags. These are the 5 things a post can have, and we need to create an object of this post. Okay, so let us see how we can create it. I will remove all this in the VS Code, and I will write let post. Let's say my object name is post is equals to, and here I will give, what is the first thing I have here? Username. So here I will write username colon, and I will give my username at the date the Jabir Hussain. Okay, now comma, after it I will give what content, and here I will give this is my hashtag first post. Okay, now comma, enter, and what else do we have here? Content, likes, repost. Okay, likes, let's say likes are 150, and reposts are 3, and comments, let's say comments are 10, something like that. Okay, we have created the object. Now if I go here and write post, then I will get the object something like this. Here I am having comments, content, and likes, repost, username, all these things. Okay, and if you like observe the database of Twitter or Instagram, they also they might be using objects to store the actual post information. But yeah, their objects are very complex when compared to ours. Their objects might be, a single object might be 100 lines, 200 lines. So it is sort of complex because it is a real world, right? So like this, we can create an object for our post. The next thing is we need to get the values. How we can get, for example, I have created a post. Now I just want to see how many likes are there for this particular post. How I can see that? I can see a particular value, a particular key value pair using 2 methods. The first method is, for example, let's say that in the post object I want to get how many likes I got. So how I can access the number of likes? Using these 2 methods. The first method is I will give post of, and here I will pass like, and this will give me, let's say I got 150 likes, so this will give a result as 150. This is one method using square brackets method. Now the second method will be, I will write post dot the key value. What is the key value? I want number of likes, so here I will write likes, and this will give me 150 as well. So these are the 2 methods which we can use to get the values from a particular object. Now let us see this. Let us see how this will work. Okay, here I will go to my console, and in the console you can clearly see that these are the objects I am having: username, content, likes, repost, and comments. Now I want to access the username of a particular post. Okay, so here I will write post of, and let's say I want to access the username, so here I will give username, and that's all. You can see that I got the output as @the Jabir Hussain. Similarly, I can also use the second method as well. So instead of writing in square brackets, I will write post dot username simply, and I will click enter. You can see that I got the username of this particular post. Similarly, I can also write post dot likes, enter. You can see that number of likes are 150. Like this, we can access the value of a particular object. One thing you need to remember, which is really important, and if you are attending any technical interviews based on the concepts of JavaScript, if you are attending any JavaScript interviews, then this question is a must ask question. So the thing you need to remember here is, whenever you are creating objects, the keys which you are assigning are converted into strings first, and then it will have its corresponding values. So what is the meaning of it? What is the meaning of this thing is, let's say that I'm creating a random object. Let's say I'm creating some random object r is equals to, and inside that I'm giving numbers as my keys, like 1, after that random 1, after 2 random 2, and I'm giving null. We already know what is null. Null means nothing, and inside that I'm giving r3 something. I have created a random function, random object, okay, separate by comma, yeah. Okay, we have created this random object. Now the thing you need to remember here is that even though I'm giving a number, but what JavaScript will do is that first of all it will convert this number into a string. It will convert all the keys into strings, and then I will assign the value. Okay, what is the assigned value? R1 is the assigned value. For 2, I will convert this into 2 and I will assign the value as R2. Similarly, this null, this is not an object null. We know that null is an object in JavaScript and it is a part of, it represents nothing. Okay, but this null is not the actual null. This null is a basically string. So this null is converted into a string and I will have R3. Like this, we'll have keys in the form of strings. Okay, now let us see this. Let us see this in VS Code. Okay, so here I will give, let me comment all this, and okay, now I will create let random is equals to, and here I will give what I can give, 1 as hello, and 2 as hi, and 3 as, or null as hola. Okay, got it. Now what I'm gonna do is that in the console I will print random and click enter. You will see that I got the keys and its corresponding values. Now if I check type of, or here I will give random dot 1, and you can see that it is showing a uncaught error, a number error. Here you are writing a number, but we expect, JavaScript expect a string. So here I need to give 1. Now you can see that I got the output as hello. Like this, all the strings are converted into, all the keys are converted into strings, and then the values will be assigned. Now let us see how we can add or update values in a particular object. So what we are gonna do here is, let's say that I'm creating a student object, and in that student object I'm storing, let's say name as Jabir, and I'm storing city is equals to Vijayawada colon Vijayawada not is equals to, and gender as male, and grade as A grade, okay, or B grade. Now to update a particular key value pair, what we are gonna do is that first of all we will write basically object name dot which value we want to change. Let's say that I want to change the name value as from Jabir to Sana, right? After that I will give student dot gender is equals to female. Like this I can directly change, or you can say update the values of a particular key value pair. Now let's say that I want to add his country also. I want to add a key value pair which represents the country of that particular student. Then I can basically add student dot country is equals to India. So what this will do is that it will create a new key value pair within this object. Like this we can add and we can update values in our object. Now let us see how this will work. So here I will create an object. Okay, let student is equals to let's say name as Jabir, and age as 19 or 18, and CGPA is 10. Okay, and here let me print the object here. In the console, I will print the object student. Okay, you can see that I got the name, age and CGPA. Now I want to update the name. Okay, this is a different student. I want to change the name of this student. So I can give student dot name is equals to, I will give here Sana. Okay, now you can see that I got the output as Sana. Now if I print the object now, you can see that right now my updated object is name as Sana, age 18, CGPA 10. Okay, like this we can update. Here previously the name was Jabir. Right now after updating, the name of the key value pair is Sana. Like this we can update. Similarly we can also add new values. Let's say that my object is having age, CGPA and name. Let's say I want to add her city. So what I can do is that here I will give student dot city is equals to, let's say, Vijayawada, right? Vijayawada. Okay, anyways, now you can see that I got dot city is equals to Vijayawada, and if I print my object now, you can see that my object is now having name, age, CGPA and city. Like this we can add multiple values and we can update anything we want in our object. Next concept is nested objects, writing objects within objects. So here what we can do is that we can also add nested objects within a particular object. For example, let's say that there is a class. Here there is a class. I am creating a student, or I am creating let class, and in class we have different students with different names. So here let's say there is Jabir and his city is Kadapa and CGPA is 9.0 and something like that. And similarly I'm having another person in the class, let's say Moin, and his city is Hyderabad and CGPA is something 8.7, and we are having, let's say, Sana CGPA, Sana city is Vijayawada and her city is 8.8 something. Okay, like this you can see that each key is storing a different object in itself. So this thing we call it as objects of objects, or I can also call it as nested objects. So writing objects inside an object is known as nested objects. Let us try to print this thing and let us see what is the output of this thing will be. So here I will remove all this and I will write let class is equals to, here I will write the first key is Jabir, and Jabir is having what you can say, city is Hyderabad, and his CGPA is something 9, and his, what you can say, grade is A. Now you can see that I have created the object here. Now similarly I can also add another value, and similarly I can also add another student also. Let's say Moin, and Moin city is Bangalore, and his CGPA is 10 and his grade is A. Similarly I can also add another student, let's say Sana CGPA, city is Hyderabad and CGPA is something 10 and grade is also A. Okay, now we got the nested key values pair. So let me save and go to the document. Here I will write class. Okay, here the word class is already taken, so here I will change the name, let's say student. Now this will not give me error because class is a keyword in JavaScript. Here class is a keyword in JavaScript. Here I need to give statement terminator after each and everything. Okay, now this will not give me anything. Okay, error. We are done, I guess. Here we can see that we have assigned different values, Jabir, Moin, Sana, all this kind of things. Now let us go to the console and I will refresh the page here. And where is my console here? Yeah, this is my console. Now I will print student. So here student, and you can see that I'm having nested objects. Jabir is an object in itself and he's having this thing, and Moin is an object in itself, and Sana is also object. These are the three different things, and we call this concept as nested objects, writing objects inside an object. Similarly, we can also write anything we want. For example, let's say that for a particular key I want to store an entire array, then I can also do that. For example, let's say that I'm creating student. Similarly, student is equals to, and inside the object I'm storing his multiple marks, so I can create an array 90, 70, 80 like this. And similarly here I can also store subjects math, science and art. Like this we can store multiple things, and we can also store arrays as values of a particular key. So let us see how this will work. Okay, in the VS Code I will remove all this and I will write let student is equals to, and in the object creation I will write marks colon, his marks are 90, 100 and 90. Okay, now after that subjects, his assigned subjects for the semester. So here I can give math, comma, science, comma, art, right? Like this we can also store arrays within an object. Now let us see the output here. I will write student, enter. You can see that my student object is having marks, and marks is storing three values 90, 100, 90 as a array. So a key which is known as marks is storing an array. Similarly, another key is also storing an array in itself. Like this we can store arrays within the object. Now the next important concept is math object. So in the part 5, when we were talking about functions, I have told you that we will talk about objects in the next lecture. So what is math object is that in JavaScript we have a function we have a set of functions which are related to math. For example, let's say that you want to calculate sine value of a particular thing, or cos value, or tan value, then you can easily do that using math object. So let me show you what a math object is. So here I will go to my document, I will clear all this. Now I will write math and I will click enter. You can see that I got the math object. So these are the different things. Here you can see that absolute, across, cos, sine value, and a sine value, tan, log, max value, min value, random function. This are the different things we are having, and you can also read about it. Okay, what is the structure of this particular function in order to use it. So math object is a set of functions which are used to perform mathematical calculations, and one of the most common methods we will be using regarding with by math object is, first one is random function, second one is absolute value, and min math values sometime. And we don't use, if you are in deep, your program or development process requires sine value or cosine value, then you can go along with it. But in most of the times we don't use all this sine, cosine, exponent function. We use random function, floor function, absolute, and what do we have here? Sometimes exponential and log. So these are the mostly used function in math object. Okay, so in this question we need to generate numbers from random integers from 1 to 10. So how we can do it? We can do it basically using this method. First of all, we have to write create an integer, and this will give me, you have to remember here is that math.random will always give a random value from 0 to 1. right? And one is not included. One is not included. It is a exclusive value. You cannot, like, we don't get a, let's say that I'm printing math.random 10 times. So what math.random function will do is that it will give you, it will generate a random number. Let's say that I'm writing this five times, right? Math.random and math.random. I am writing this 5 times. So if in the first time, let's say it has given 0.5, second time 0.9 and 0 and 0.7, 0.75 something. So what happens is we will have a value which is equals to 0, but we will never have a value which is equals to 1. 1 is not included. So we will have different values. Whenever you generate math.random, it will give you a value, random value from 0 to 1, but here 1 is not included. Okay, got it. Now our task here is that to generate a number between 1 to 10. How we can do it? Whatever the value this number is generating, we will multiply it by 10, and we will have a value from 1 to 9. You need to remember that 1 to 9 will have numbers, because 1 is not included, 1 is always excluded, right? So if we don't have 1, then how we can get 10 value, right? We are basically multiplying with 10. For example, let's say my generated value is 0.9, and if I multiply it with 10, then I will get the value as 9. So in order to get a value which includes 1 as well as 10, we have to add it with 1. Okay, and floor function, as I said in previous lecture also, floor function is used to remove the decimal values from particular number. So random function will give you a long string of decimal value, and all these decimal values are removed using math.random number, math.floor. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is that in the program I will create here, I will remove all this, I will create, let num is equals to math.random, and I will get some random values. Okay, here you can see that math.random value. Now I will update the num value. Num is equals to whatever the random value which is generated between 0 to 1, I'm gonna multiply it with 10. Okay, now after multiplying, I have to remove all the numbers, I have to remove all the decimal values. So here I will write num is equals to math.flow, and here I will write num value. Whatever the num value I got, I am printing it. Okay, now after that I need to multiply, I need to add 1 in my num value in order to include 10, because we know that 1 is not included, 1 is always excluded. But in our question we need to generate values from 1 to 10, included all the numbers from 1 to 10. So here I will write num is equals to num plus 1. Okay, now after that I will write console.log, here I will write num value. Okay, now let me save it and go to the document, and you can see that I got the value as 5. Now if I refresh, you will see 4, 1, 1, 9, 9, 3. Like this we will have random numbers. Similarly here you can see that math.random, and you can see that I got the value 0.4. So the thing you need to remember here is, whenever we are talking about math.random, the numbers which are generated are from 0 to 1, but 1 will never get a value 1, because 1 is always excluded. Now in this question we need to build a game in which we have to ask a number from the user, and we will have a number in our code, and if both number got matched, then we will tell to user, okay, you have chosen the right number, congratulations. And if he cannot do that, then if he chooses to quit, then we will show him you have chosen to quit and you have failed, something like that. We will build a guessing game out of this question. Okay, So let us see how we can do it. So in the question, what I'm gonna do is that I will create a prompt. First of all, I will create a prompt const max is equals to, and I will ask user in which range you want to guess number. Do you want to guess number from 1 to 10 or 1 to 100, 1 to 1000? In which range you want to guess the number, and the user has to give me the maximum number, and that maximum number will become the limit of our guessing game. Okay, so here I will give prompt, and in the prompt I will give enter the max number. Okay, now I will create a random number out of it. Const random is equals to math.floor. Whatever the random number generated, I will remove the floor value out of it. Okay, so math.floor, and I will generate math.random into maximum value, and I need to add 1 because for example, let's say that user has given me 10, then it's user's job to guess numbers from 1 to 10. Okay, and 1 is also included and 10 is also included, but what math.random function will do is that it will exclude 1. So if I don't add 1 here now, then we'll get numbers from 1 to 9, right? I hope you have understood, and 10 will become excluded. So the reason why I am adding 1 is because to include 10 here. If the number is 10, maximum number is 10, then to include 10 I am adding 1. Okay, here I will give statement terminator, and I will give a prompt to my user, let guess. I will ask, okay, guess the number now. So here I will give guess the number. Okay, now I will write while here, while my output is true, until my user has not quit. I will keep on asking him, okay, do you wanna quit? If you want to quit, then type quit. So here I will write if my user has typed guess is equals to quit. If he has chosen to quit, then we will write console dot log, and I will write user quit, and I will break out. I will break from the program. Now if our guess is equals to max number, that is user has chosen correct, right, random number is equals to random. If this is the case, then I will write console dot log you are correct, congratulations, something like that. Okay, after that I will come out of my loop. Else what I will do is that I will keep on repeating the loop. So here I will write guess is equals to prompt wrong guess guess again, or try again. Now let me save the program and go to the output. Here let me refresh it first. Okay, here you can see that it is asking enter the maximum number. Let's say my maximum number is 10, so I need to start guessing. So let's say 1, no, wrong answer, try again. 2, wrong answer. 3, wrong answer. 6, wrong answer. 7, right answer, you are correct, congratulations. So my random number was 7. Similarly I can again refresh, and I will give 100 and 5, wrong answer. 2, wrong answer. Now if I can't guess the number, I will write quit, and I can see the output user quit. Like this we can generate make a little teeny tiny generative game, guessing game basically. So this is about object literals. In the next chapter we are gonna talk about arrow functions. What are arrow functions, how we use it, and what are try catch blocks. And from the part 8 we will go into JavaScript development. So with that being said, I will see you in the next lecture.